In this series we're gonna look how to use basic shape tools or spline tools and MoGraph cloner for creating beautiful organic flourish ornament. And let's start. And we'll take spline arc tool and draw some shape. So I hold left button to move, and then I can manage the arc tool and extend. For example, if I move mouse to the left, you'll see we get new arc, and I hold left mouse button and create another twist element. So I create one more, so I'm holding left mouse button and forming the shape. Now I hit escape and click to this last spline point and extend inside. So holding left mouse button, then holding left mouse button, small twist. And I'd like to create something inside. So I holding left mouse button, spline arc, holding left mouse button, drawing the arc and extend it inside, and small cross arc, and one element here and maybe a few here. Holding left mouse button, drawing line, holding left mouse button to reshape and to extend inside. Left, left, and maybe changing this arc a bit. Hope this shape is okay, maybe small here. So holding left mouse button, drawing line, extend, reshape. Oh, it takes some time. Yes, like this, small here, small here, and I think it's okay. So our shape is ready. Now we're gonna use sweep tool and rectangle. Moving rectangle to the sweep and then spline, and we have this strange thing. I navigate pressing middle mouse. Now I go to rectangle, shrink down the width, and you'll see we'll get our kind of extrusion. So I said small height and small width. I add rounding, so we have this smoothing edge, maybe 0.5. Going to sweep, going to caps, fill it cap, steps 5.5, so we have the same shape at the end, 0.5, and we have very smooth basic element. And now we're going to use cloner to build our composition. So in sweep we have to find on the front view our anchor point, or going to move, and it's here, and I'd like to move it to this side, so to have rotation around this free place. Set chords to 0. Now I'm going to MoGraph cloner, going to sweep, going not sweep, cloner, radial, and you'll see we have this beautiful ornament. As we have sweep and rectangle, we can manage height. I have small freezes and I go into cloner, set to render instances for speed up my viewport. And now I can create some variation. I go into sweep and with holding control, duplicate it. Going to rectangle, extend height 60, and we have sweep, let me name it top, and we have kind of random. And you'll see that if we add some more counts, we'll create this overlaying, but still it's very beautiful, and it's like mathematical stuff. We can extend radius, and let's build a composition. I'll start from the center with, for example, 6 elements. They are not overlaying. Duplicate, extend, add with overlaying, going to transform, and I can rotate this thing a bit. I'd like to up it, so, and rotate. Extend radius. One more. Going to transform, shrink down the size. Extend radius. So it's very decorative element. 0, 0, and I want to rotate it to the opposite side, maybe minus 90. Add this kind of ring. Now I'll create plane, move it to the side, to the back. You'll see we'll have this cutting off element. Go into camera, put it to the 0, 0, 0, 0, so the front view. Go into our render settings, setting to maybe a square element. I'd like to use maybe a normal lens with 50 focal length, and build the composition like this. I'd like to go maybe to rectangle. I use this search button, go to rectangle, and extend some height. So for example, it was 20, I use maybe 60. Let me check. Yes, 20, 60, 60 to 120. I want twice all, maybe these elements 40, 120, and the small one at the side. And I'd like them to be the similar. So I go into the last cloner and delete this sweep top, and maybe move it to the front. Like, oh, move plane a bit forward. So yes, this kind of thing. Cloner, move it to the front, and this one maybe to the bottom. Now I made our composition, and now we'll start to render and to colorize this thing. Let's have a look on GPU render. I use Redshift. I go to Global Illumination tab and set Irradiance Cache and Irradiance Point Cloud. I think it's quite the same algorithm we have in Standart Renderer. Set number of bounds to 4 and sample max to 256. I hope this provide clean result. Now I go to Redshift render view, dock this panel here, hit play, We have starting Redshift. Now it should parse our scene, and one thing that the complex your scene, the more RAM you need to allocate for your GPU. So in this situation we're going to cloner, and don't forget to use render instances for lowering memory using. Now we lock our camera, going outside, and create some lights. I use area light. As I said, we'll use one light, and we have immediately appear update and struggle with viewport. So I pause this thing, rotate, going to display, disable shadows, and going to hidden line mode. We have speed increase, move it to the up, preparing progress render, going to move it up a bit, extend, move it forward so we don't have these strong shadows. Go into area light, decrease the strength maybe to 10, create material, and we use same thing, plastic. So we're going to preset, plastic, we had blue one, add roughness, it will update our preview. We had white one and red one. Apply blue to the plane. If I pause this thing and double click on the sphere, it should update our preview. Sometimes it could affect some bug, but this time I just need to replace previous stuff with our new materials. Select cloner, right click, apply, and hit play, and you'll see that we have immediate viewport response. I have two cards, 980 Ti GeForce, and it works very great. We have these dark zones, and we can handle this thing differently. We can add additional light. For example, I move it in front of the camera, extend it, set intensity maybe to 1, maybe 2, move it up, and once again it very responsible. Go into output, the resolution is set, and I hit render. And let's take a look how much time. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong viewport. Go into camera, now render, and now we'll see how much time it will take to calculate this image on two graphic cards. We had 1 minute building caches, and now you'll see that almost in 2 minutes we'll get our image rendered, even 1 minute 20, and this with overblight 32 minutes. You'll see the difference, and that's why I'm using GPU render to save a lot of time in my process. So thank you for attending this class, and hope you'll get new knowledges for improving your skills and work quality. After we build up the geometry, Let me show you how to manage lighting using by Standart Render. First of all, I'm going to the light, set shadows to area. This is more physically accurate and more realistic. Going to details, in the square, we have this radius, it shows the fall off. And going to options, on the shadow visibility, in viewport. And now we can move our thing to the top, like this. And you'll see how our lights works. So I'd like to have small shadows. I extend our light. Maybe shrink down the fall off and extend more. Hit render. This kind of look. I dislike these dark areas, and in this class I'll show you a simple method with one light setup. Of course you can add more lights. Let me show you very fast. One light, going to move tool with control drag, rotate, add for example orange. Let me create basic material and add them to all our elements. This is R19 and this interface can be changed, and reflectance I remove default specular, add Beckman, go into Fresnel, go into dielectric and add some roughness. So basic plastic. Kind of like this. We have orange light from the bottom with short lights, I mean short shadows, and one more at the other side with, for example, little purple color. And we can render, and you'll see that we have very pop light scene with dark elements. And now you have to tweak your lights, for example lowering their power maybe to 30, and manage all this stuff. It's not about this, I mean this class. Oh, add some strength. So it's up to you how to work with lighting. It's a very delicate stuff and everyone build his own. I just want to show you one light setup and how to manage this thing. First of all, we'll go to shadows, decrease accuracy maybe to 60 to improve our speed, and add few more samples. And now we're going to effect global illumination, and now we have different presets. You can check what works better for you, but the idea of this thing is to produce extra long light bounces, so it hits the object and then going another way. I use one hit, 2.2, going to samples, going to custom sample count, and preview setting in record density. So I'll hit render. We have some pre-caching with low quality, but you'll see that even this low quality stuff will work great and remove all the dark segments we have. We have some noises, and some of noises are made of material. I think it looks nice. Go into material, go into reflectance, layer sampling, increase by multiplying by 2. I think that works better with reflection. And now I'd like to keep with one bounce. If you add another, for example, method, you can manage depth count. For example, 16 bounces too much. I think 4 might works good. And as I said, you'll have to manage and to work with presets to find one that fit your needs with overall quality and speed up. And there are a lot of technical tutorials about customizing stuff, and you'll see that we have a great decrease in speed by adding only one additional method for bouncing. And I'm rendering viewport with this button or Command Control R, and you'll see when we add few more bounces we have very white image, and I think we'll have to decrease light power or going here secondary method and decrease the intensity on this method. So for example 80. And now I don't want to change this setup. I just want to add few materials with Control drag. The basic floor I'll create blue material for, maybe this, and we'll use white for other. Right click, replace 1, 2, 3, and red one. And you'll see if you use iterate mode in clone and you'll have two elements, they will have order white, red, white, red, white, red. If we have 4 elements and one of them is red, we'll have 3 white and 1 red. And you can build your own order by adding colors and adding clones, and they will change one another. In cloner I want to remove this purple thing, sweep red, and maybe 3 or 4 or even more elements with white segment. Now we have 2 near red object. I add some segment to count, so if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 72 should works fine because it divide by 6 clone. And I hit render to see what we get at the end of this class. We have some problems and this is time, so it takes already 24 minutes and we have some zones to render. That's why in next short video I'll show you how GPU render, I use Redshift for example, will handle this scene